And this is number 9 in our psychology, finding practical psychology in the 10 Commandments. So, 10 Commandment number 9, any of you? Do you know? Lying. Well, is it lying? Yeah. Bearing false witness against thy neighbor, the King James puts it. Now, lying is important to say that God doesn't approve of lying. It's one of the 7, abominations, 7 things to the Lord, 6 things to the Lord doth hate, yea, 7 is an abomination. Lying is mentioned at the beginning and at the end, so it must be really important to mention twice in that list. But this commandment is very specifically stating, bear false witness against thy neighbor. Interestingly, thy neighbor, if you look at the New Testament, Jesus defines the new neighbor as, everyone pretty much. Anyone you come in contact with, that's your neighbor. So bearing false witness against your neighbor. So that doesn't mean as long as you never go to court, you don't have to ever worry about this commandment. Well, I'm not going to bear false witness, so I don't have to worry about it. But it is about, an inherent honesty that we have with each other. And Christians are pretty predisposed to little white lies. And we kind of go, oh, that's okay. Because, it's okay. But when it's against, when it creates a disruption in our relationships with others, it's not okay. And that can happen by not being totally honest. You can have lies of omission. Yeah. Now, that's not to say you need to tell everybody everything, how you're feeling, whatever, blah, blah, blah. What it means, though, is the closer the relationship, the more honest, the more revealing that you could and should be with that person. It's one of those should statements, right? It is really important to bare your soul to someone. And for me, that comes pretty easy. So it's easy for me to say that. I can bare my soul to complete strangers. I don't care. I don't care what people really think about me for the most part. I don't like harsh criticisms. They do make me anxious. And that's why I'm always saying, be kind below, because I don't mind when you disagree. I mind when people are rude about it and harsh. And because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I've hurt somebody and I don't want to hurt anybody. That's a really big thing for me. So, yeah, on it, that kind of honesty, just like, you could ask me the deepest, darkest secrets and I'll just tell you. Really, honestly, just it's the way I am. Not everyone is like that, and that's okay. Not everyone should be the same. And also, you should be judicious when you tell people about yourself. Otherwise, you could just be talking about yourself. And like obviously, I would not do that with my clients because it's all about them in a session, not about me. Like, come on. So, yeah, selfishness and it plays a part in this. So, but when I can share that I relate, because I have been through stuff like that, then that's appropriate. We call it, self-disclosure. Dr. Burns even makes that a technique in his book, Feeling Good Together, because self-disclosure can be so powerful to help connect people. And so I kind of think of that tool when I think of this, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, because we don't want to be against. Now, the other way to look at this in terms of psychology is, what are you saying about this person when they're not around? Because it affects us. And you might not think it does. You kind of chatting away with another friend, and there's a third friend, like, oh yeah, and she said this, and she said that, and he said this, and he said that, and they did this. And the other person's like, oh, that's terrible. And you feel so good because the person agreed with you. It pads up the self. And when you try and build up this self, it's like really hard to define, if you could define it, if it really exists. In some ways, I kind of wonder. But we kind of, let's say ego, because that's kind of makes more sense, kind of builds up this ego, which is, totally against our Christian psychology principles. And we don't get more happiness from that. You don't get more happiness from more confidence. Doesn't happen. I know children, little children, who are perfectly happy and have zero confidence. I just want to try something new. Let's just try for the experience. We are happy because our thoughts are thinking realistically and healthy. That's how we have happiness, is good thoughts. Not good as in always positive, but as in realistic and healthy. So I hope that there's some lessons there. Let's go ahead and put some of your own suggestions down below, bearing false witness. And I mean, there's probably a whole bunch that I have missed. So I'd love to hear them. Put them in the comments below. And as always, please be kind, because we're all real people with real problems and real feelings. Thanks for watching.